Hey everyone, this is Tiffany again with a mini mindful movement practice for you. Today we're going to be doing a little side body play. Again, focused towards my prenatal, postpartum crew, but really anything that's done prenatally, postpartumly is very accessible to everybody out there. So just because it says prenatal, postpartum, try it. It feels good. All we're gonna need today is something that you can use as a pillow. I've got a folded up, a tri-folded yoga blanket for my head and a little bit of space. So let's get to playtime. So I'm gonna start over here with a little lie down and sideline. So I might want a little bit more height here, but we'll see. This feels pretty good. You wanna feel like you're gonna have space behind you to roll, so I don't really recommend using like a high-ended block or anything like that. But for mamas who've got bigger baby bumps going on already, if it feels like you want some support on the underside of your belly, feel free to grab another blanket or towel to give your belly a little bit of support. If you can, to work some of those deeper abdominals that are going to help support the baby when you're upright and also help you when you are pushing your baby out, think of just drawing your baby gently in. Remember, it's not on off. We're drawing in just enough so we feel counter support in your low back. Gorgeous. Now, check that your knees are stacked, your ankles are stacked, knees in line with your pelvis, heels in line with your knees. Make sure that your kneecaps are actually stacked. So a second ago, my knee was rolling behind, so my top knee was short of my bottom knee, which tells me my top side of my pelvis is rolling behind me. Go ahead, roll the pelvic halves so they stack and the knees line up. Good. And part one, just breathe. See what it feels like to be lying on this side and recognize it's going to feel very different lying on one side versus the other because how our babies orient themselves internally with all the rest of our organs can be slightly different for each and every person based on how their bodies are designed and the different kind of movement patterns they've collected in their bodies. Structural patterns they've collected in the bodies over the years. So once you just do a little bit of breathing, all we're going to do is we're going to float your top arm up. Now when you put an active reach through the fingertips, so you feel your shoulder blade reaching to the side off the ribs a little bit. And now breathe. You might notice a little bit of movement of my arm as I breathe here. Good. And now soften the arm back. So it's still reaching towards the ceiling, but it's not active. So active reach, passive reach. And again, breathe. Still that little bit of movement. So we're kind of feeling that accordion opening and closing of the side body. Yep. And then you're just going to go ahead and rotate your palm towards your head. And as you inhale, let it get pushed over. As you exhale, just pause it there. And inhale, let it get pushed over. Exhale, kind of suspend it. So you feel some muscles working in and around the shoulder girdle. So there's both work and relaxation. We're working on some eccentric lengthening of the side body. And eventually making it all the way down so that your upper arm is resting against the top of your head. You can let your fingers just kind of drape towards the floor. Good, if you can't see my hands, scoot down a little bit. Yep. And then we're just going to do nice big arm circles, but we're going to keep the ribs and the pelvis as they are to start. So we're going to circle it back, and your range might not be as big as mine, and that's okay. But notice that my upper arm bone is rotating. So my palm is down, and then it's rotating, rotating, rotating forward and back and around. So really trying to, and if you find a nice spot like I just did right now, it feels really good, stay there and breathe there. I'm going to add a little reach. So I'm not letting my ribs get pulled back. So my top rib cage is even countering a little bit forward. This is a nice chest opener, especially as our breasts get larger, the further along pregnancy are. If things feel a little bit tighter in the front, this can feel really good. And circle it around. And one more. So just nice, 3 nice big juicy ones, juicy circles. Oh, allowing that rotation. And then when your hand gets to your pelvis, we're going to reverse. We're going to bring it back. And you might notice you feel some different things. And all the way forward. Trying to keep the arm shoulder height, so don't let it drop. Keep it up. So there is work here to resist gravity. And we reach back. And then it rotates open. And it circles, and we'll do one more. Because then we're going to add to this. Good. And bring it forward. Good. Rest your top hand on top of your bottom hand. And now we're going to get the rib cage involved. So here, our bottom upper arm is going to be the stabilizer, and our ribs are going to be the mobilizer along with our top shoulder. So here, think about taking the rib cage back. So the top arm is just following the ribs. We're going to roll it back a little. And then we're going to push the ribs forward. Maybe just till the hands stack, or maybe pushing it a little bit further. Oh, that feels good. And then pulling the ribs back. And pushing it forward. And maybe as you continue to repeat this over and over again, that range gets larger. Yeah. Make sure that your head and your neck are following your ribs, not leading them. So depending on what body part leads the movement, we can feel things differently. Good. Now at some points, you're going to hit a tipping point when you're rolling back. Good. Keep your pelvic half stacked here, and then let the elbow bend to reach it back. And I'm going to keep my hand on my chest for this first round, so I'm just reaching through my elbow, gently looking behind me, and then bringing it back. And reaching it forward. Next round, I'm going to take it a little bit further. Inhaling to roll open. And maybe finding a full reach. Breath there, then we exhale, fold the arm back in. And go back. And especially if you're pregnant, twists are oftentimes contraindicated because we tend to push them too far. And this is an open chain twist, really focusing on just trying to work within the range of kind of your breath, your comfort levels, listening to your body. And bring it back. And all the way forward. Next time we open out, I'm going to give you the option to stay out for a few breath cycles. So we're going to open out. So again, ribs leading, top arm following, bottom arm stabilizing. Open. The temptation might be for that top hip to roll back. My hope is that you're trying to find a counter support of the back of the top hip, gently reaching forward. Notice if you feel tension in your neck, let your chin soften towards your shoulder. Breathe. If this is too intense, know that you can bring your hand back in. You can just soften it a little bit. Know that the more repetitions or the longer you stay here, the more the body will soften and settle and relax into this position. And then we slowly unwind our way back. Good. Then we got to repeat it on the other side. So gently push yourself up. Now just pause here for a second, and whatever position feels comfortable for you. So I'm just going to go with an easy seated position, cross-legged. And you have something underneath your pelvis. I'm going to take my right hand, which was my bottom arm a second ago, to stabilize. I'm going to reach my left arm up, and I'm just going to side bend. And lift. And we're going to do it again. Now we're going to side bend. And lift. And side bend. And lift. Good. So just integrating all that side bending, just do a little integration of the work we just did. So taking your fun little pillow, and again, coming to a lying position, legs stacked. Check that your pelvic halves are stacked by checking if your kneecaps are in alignment, ankles in line with knees, top arms gently reaching forward. Part one, just check in, just breathe. Notice how laying on this side may feel different in relationship to laying on the first side. Do your best not to say better or worse. Doesn't really help the body or the brain or the mind. Good, and then we just add a reach of the arm into space. So remember, we've got our active reach, which we're going to start with, where we really feel that energetic reaching with the bones all the way through the fingertips. So it's like we're creating space in each of our joints. The shoulder joint, the elbow joints, between all the joints in our wrists and our palms and our fingers. And then focus on your breath. Nice big side body breathing. Good. Go into your passive reach. So from our active, we let the arm bones settle into gravity. So they're still pointed towards the ceiling, but you feel a little bit more the weight of the arm bones. And again, we breathe. Noticing, which is what I'm doing right now, that I've got a little bit more restriction in my right rib cage than in my left, which kind of follows with what I feel internally, that my kiddo is hanging out a little bit more on my right hand side. Good. Then rotate your palm towards your head. So feel what's working there. You don't need to know names of muscles or anything, but just feel where there is working, action, sensation. And then as you inhale, let the arms slowly come over. With the support of the inhale, exhale, pause. And last one. Maybe I need one more. Feels good. It's taking its time. I'm okay with that. At some point, gravity takes hold of the arm bones and we just gently want to give way into them, which is great. Let your upper arm just rest here. And again, just breathe for a second. Good. Circle the top arm forward. Stack your arms. So again, palms in line with armpits. And here we're going to start small. So keeping the pelvis as it is, nice and stacked and stable. We're going to roll the ribs as we inhale. Exhale. Roll back. Maybe reaching just to stack the hands, or maybe reaching a little bit further. Might feel a nice stretch to the back of the shoulder blades. And then inhaling, opening back up. Exhaling. And inhaling. Again, starting to watch as your range increases. And really, it doesn't matter how long it takes for it to increase or how far it increases. Really just want you to get in tune with what you're sensing. Never trying to push beyond your edges. So walk up to the edge, maybe tickle the edge, but don't push the edge. So we're about to get to my tipping point where my elbow, my upper arm gets pulled back with the ribs. And exhale. So focusing a little bit more for me on my active exhale through the mouth. So just get a little bit more pelvic floor involvement. Yeah, and bring it back. So this side is definitely a little bit more resistance than my first side, my left side. It likes to roll forward, so it's got more space in that bottom shoulder girdle. Good, this time I'm going to find that reach through my elbow, follow the elbow gently. Again, noticing my top hip wants to follow, but I am now going to find a gentle reach of my top knee forward to help support the top pelvic half. And then bring it back. So I'm feeling this spiraling tightness from my right rib starting to cross over to my left pelvic half when I go back there. So my range is definitely going to be smaller on this side. And we inhale to open. And we exhale to close. I got maybe 2 more in me. That will feel good. This definitely feels good on this side, that reach forward. So don't cheat yourself of the reach beyond the bottom arm. And we inhale, opening maybe all the way out at this point. Find the counter reach of your right knee forward, right arm back. Breathe into the twist. And again, if it feels like it's too intense here, back away. And then we're going to go ahead, fold the top arm in, roll it forward, and rest. Good. Realizing I forgot my arm circles. It's all right, we're going to get those in. Order of operations, we're just going to float the arm back up again. Good, and then we're going to go ahead, open it back, and circle. Bringing it forward, nice and big and juicy. I notice if it feels different doing it after doing your rib rotations. So you can do it either way. And then reverse. Be fun to play some days doing one order of operation one day and one the next day and see what feels better for you. And it might change from day to day. So feel free to change whether the circles come first or second. Oh, yeah. But at least now we're even. Because I cannot stand being. I was like, my body is feeling like something is missing. And rest. So 3 in each direction, nice and slow and juicy. Gently push yourself up to a comfortable seated position. And again, we're going to go ahead, take the arm that was grounded before, Ground it now. Reach your right arm up. And we're going to side bend over. And lift it up. And exhale over. And inhale up. And exhale over. And up. Last one. And over. And up. Alrighty. That's our little side body play today. Hope you guys enjoyed, and I will see you guys next time. Take care.